This is NDTV, and you're watching Classics.
Hello and welcome to the Unstoppable Indians. Every week we take a journey into the life of an outstanding Indian, a person whose talent, acumen or moral example is transforming India. The best, the finest from every field join me, Manvi Dhillon, on this show to share their life story, their journey to success, some of the knocks along the way, what made them get up and keep going, what makes them an unstoppable Indian. Few people know the law like Fali Sam Nariman. After all, he's been practicing it for 60 years. And at each stage, his conscience has guided his career. He was Additional Solicitor General of India when the emergency was declared in 1975. He resigned from the post the very next day. In 1999, he registered his protest against an attack on Christians in Gujarat by withdrawing from the Narmada case at a critical stage. A lifetime champion for human rights, a man whose work has helped define and refine modern democracy in India. Perhaps that's why his peers have given him the title Living Legend of the Law. My guest today is a living legend of the law, a champion of human rights and democratic unity, Fali Nariman. Mr. Nariman, thank you so much for joining us on the Unstoppable Indians today.
Thank you.
I want to start at the very beginning, 1929 Rangoon. Do you remember that period at all?
Oh yes, very well. In fact, I trekked out with my parents from Burma at the age of 12, so I remember everything. Yeah.
You were only 12 when you came back to India from Burma. And was it a period of adjustment, do you recall, in those years?
Absolutely. It was totally different because Rangoon, Burma was a nice, happy-go-lucky sort of place. And until the Japanese invaded Rangoon, and then my parents and I, we moved on to Mandalay, thinking we'll come back to Rangoon. But the Japanese advance was too swift, and we were cut off. So we had to come overland, which took us about 21 days, over hills, rivers, things like that. But it's good to have your bad experiences early on in life than later.
You chose to study law at the Government Law College in Mumbai. Why law?
I don't know about chose. It was a sort of a relapse because actually my father wanted me to take the ICS exam. In those days it was a very popular thing, but I knew that he couldn't afford it, my trip to England. And so I had, because I came second class in the Bachelor of Arts and knew nothing about mathematics or science, so the last refuge was law. That's how I took law, quite frankly.
And yet those years studying law were fun?
Oh, great fun, yes. I've never regretted it. I've never regretted it.
And your peer group at the time was?
A peer group, a whole lot of people. I don't know, some of them are dead, some of them are alive, but a whole lot of them. Of course, Soli Sorabji was 2 years my junior. Anil Diwan was also a couple of years my junior. There was a very clever fellow called Sharad Desai. He later became a judge, but then he resigned and so on. And so a whole lot of people. In fact, before I ever thought that I would be nominated for Parliament, we had started a Parliament in the Law College, and we conducted it so well. It was better conducted than it is here in real life. And the principal was the king. And anyway, it was good fun and a good experience of how to do things.
You've practiced law for over 60 years.
Almost 60 years.
Almost 60 years. So much must have changed. And
oh, absolutely.
I want you to be honest
Yes.
and assess the positive change and the negative change
Yes.
for the legal community.
Well, actually, if you compare the law college in those days and the law college today, that's something that it's totally different. The law college of today gives tuition to the student, which we never had, could never even think of having. I passed out first in law and so on and thought I was a great gun, but the amount I knew was so little when I came to practice that I had to pick up things as it went along. Whereas today, when I go to lecture these law students, they are so outstanding, so clever. They know much more than we ever knew.
So the colleges today are more rigorous, but what about the profession? Because you've also seen the change in the profession in these 60 years.
Yeah, but you see, this looking back is always like that. You must remember that. People, when they get older, always think that the times when they had started was much better than the present times. And that's a failing, a human failing. That, oh, we had the better judges, we did. It's not that we didn't. But somehow you have to resist that, because you live in a changing world. Everything is changing. It's not static. Therefore, there's nothing to compare. That's the difference.
And it's not fair to compare.
And it's not fair to compare. But of course, I enjoyed my stint in the bar. I've continued to enjoy it. That's why I have not retired, which I should have. Many people tell me I should.
Well, we hope not. I think perhaps the biggest frustration with the legal system is the delays.
No, absolutely.
And that's because obviously there is a great deal of pressure on the system, and many question, why hasn't the judiciary or the system stepped up its game to ensure that these delays are minimized?
Yes.
I mean, as a common person, that would be the most outstanding failing.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. I mean, that's something that we are accountable for, we are answerable for, all of us. And actually, we adopted the English system. And in England also they changed, but we didn't. Namely, in the era of Lord Wolfe, who was master of the rolls, that judges should push more cases towards a settlement or a quick conclusion. Unfortunately, that is not happening. That has not happened in India. Cases are not meant to go on and learned judgments delivered. People come to courts in order to have their disputes settled, rectified, whatever it is. If you see something, you try and get people together. In my time, we had judges who would sit in court in commercial cases in Bombay and go on with 3 cases simultaneously. How they did it was like this. In the first case, after the pleadings were complete, the judge would say, yes, but why not we do this, Mr. So-and-so, or why not we do that? In which event the counsel would say, let us go out, my lord, and discuss this with our client. So that would be one case. When the second case came on, a similar thing, he would go to another gallery and discuss it. That's how these judges, who were extraordinarily competent, settle cases. There's no difficulty where people should settle cases. Today, you see, there's this fear. Oh, the moment a judge says something, you feel that he's biased against you. He's not. I mean, he's only expressing a tentative view, and you have to. This is something which my profession, I think, has much to answer for. We are responsible.
But do you think that there's any room to initiate change? Because, I mean, the profession will recognize this is a problem.
Yeah. You see, we only recognize, we learn by example, not by precept. In India, there are a lot of precepts. Everybody preaches to you, but they never practice what they preach. But I have noticed that whenever you have a Chief Justice who is a doer, then things fall into place. Judges themselves who are with him do what he does. So, leadership from the top, in politics, in law, in every field of activity is most important.
They have to set the example. Yeah. I want to turn this back towards you.
And in life, it's your wife who's the boss.
I want to turn it back to you specifically. You know, your conscience has always played a huge role in your professional conduct. And 1975, you resigned when the emergency was called.
That was quite a traumatic thing, you see. That's the problem. Resigning is not very simple, I can assure you. We were very comfortable in our Safdarjung Lane home. The law minister had come and said, yes, that we'll have your garden beautifully done and so on, just before, a few weeks before. And then, of course, to suddenly extricate yourself from all this and then make yourself initially unpopular. Popularity, of course, comes later. Initially unpopular, because they say, what a fool you are. You are the only idiot who's resigned. I mean, no one else resigned. That's the difference. But looking back, I don't regret it one bit. I think I did the right thing, and God pays. As Palkiwala, our professor, used to tell us, God pays, but not every week.
But you've always consistently, after that, also acted upon your conscience.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
What sort of motivates you at that stage? What is the thought process?
I don't know. I suppose perhaps something within people. I believe. I believe in a God. I believe in providence. Call it what you like. And I do believe that somebody is looking at what you are doing, and that's always been my feeling. But I can't prove it, of course. Nobody can prove it. But at the same time, that's why I think if you try to, realize that, then there are some compulsions which make you go on the straight and narrow.
You've always taken a principled stand when there's been a violation of human rights, and the Gujarat instance comes to mind as well. But what I want to ask you is, has India's whole experiment with unity amid diversity succeeded? And here I'm using your words.
I don't know about succeeded. As you grow older, I think your optimism sort of fades away a little, and you become a little more pessimistic. And at the moment, there is that we are in the trough of pessimism. We haven't succeeded, although we've conducted our elections magnificent. Every 5 years, there's been no problem. We have not had dictatorships, military or civilian. Our army has kept totally out. That is a great quality, because please remember, the West don't realize it, but all around us this has been happening. We have the same constitution, the 1950 constitution, as we started, with amendments, of course. Therefore, that is the plus side. But at the same time, I think the movers and shakers, the people who man the constitutional posts, leave much to be desired, with a few exceptions. This is what worries me. And people don't have that dedication that they used to have to office, to high office. They don't realize how important it is to be seen as doing good or doing something for the people of India, because the reaction from the people of India is magnificent. They would give their heart and soul to a person who does something for them, and not fills his pockets or her pockets and then makes an attempt, because we are the most hypocritical also, many of us. I don't say politicians only. I mean, we are all in that stand. Our public opinions and our private views never coincide, or hardly ever coincide. And that's why I believe that has been a factor where I don't get so enthusiastic as I used to be.